Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, worship team. Welcome to our Reset Worship Team meeting. This is actually a big video for those of you who were not able to attend and join uh, our meeting on Sunday. But if you have joined us on Sunday, you can still watch this video anyway. And so the reason why we're having this meeting is because, as you all know, we haven't met for quite some time since the beginning of lockdown. And now that the lockdown has been lifted, I know that we're all returning to our regular schedule. So I just wanted to have this meeting with you all in order to be able to touch base and to pick up where we left off, and also to remind us some of the things that we have already been practicing, and also to inform us of some of the changes that we have made. And so without further ado, I'd like to proceed and go on by first of all welcoming new team members to our worship team. First of all, I'd like to welcome Airwell and Nate as part of the song, or the ones who are going to lead us through songs. And so welcome, Nate and Airwell. We're glad to have you as part of our team. Nate, well, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to go to campus this coming fall. So he's going to be a while with us throughout the entire fall semester until the spring. So, well, God willing, he'll be able to help us out with the singing of songs, leading us through songs, along with Airwell, as they will be sponsoring, along with the youth, one Sunday each month. And so I'd like to, first of all, walk us through the adjusted schedule that we have for the worship. In fact, the schedule that we're doing here, or a lot of the things that you're going to see in a bit, is not what we're not already doing, but many of those things we have already been doing in the past. But these are just some adjusted schedule. I'd like just to pull it up for you guys. So this is the chart that I've created for you. If you want to follow with me with your eyes there, in fact, I'm going to post this later on the PDF format, and you can print it out and you can put it in your fridge, or you can put it in your office, or somewhere that you are, in your working space, or maybe in your kitchen, or maybe in your living room. So here's the adjusted schedule. If you want to follow with me with your eyes here, we do have typically 4 Sundays for each month. And in the worship team, we have basically 4 categories of people that are helping us. So we have the overseeing elder. And by the way, I'll explain this in a bit, what the overseeing elder is. This is not like the elder that oversees or watches over the church, but this is just someone who takes charge for the entire worship for that day. Okay? The overseeing elder. So he's the one who basically watches and monitors the entire activity of worship. And here we have the song leader, or the musicians, and that's because on occasions or some Sundays, there are song leaders who are also playing their music or musical instrument, just like your brother Omar or brother Danny, or even Nate and Airwell. They're going to be playing the guitar, so they're leading at the same time and they're playing their music at the same time. We have the media, those who are in charge with the media, and the greeter, those who are, at the back, in the hallway, and the entrance door, who welcomes the people. And typically, like I've said, we have 4 Sundays that we operate together as a church for our worship on Sunday and our Bible study. Keep in mind that first week is always Communion Sunday, and by Communion Sunday, we mean the Lord's table. So other than the regular service here, we do usually have a Lord's Supper after the message. Second Sunday, we have third Sunday and fourth Sunday. Fifth Sunday, I would say this comes by like maybe 5 times a year. That's why we don't have a regular schedule here, but I would say this is negotiable. This would depend on whoever is available on fifth Sunday. This doesn't happen a lot, like I said. It happens about 5 to 6 times a year, or maybe sometimes 4 times to 5 times a year. So we'll see about that. But here's, you see, as many of you, I'd like to keep in mind, first of all, that you have to know your role here. So first of all, here we do have the overseeing elder. So nothing has changed a lot, if you noticed. First Sunday, we have Brother Joel as our overseeing elder. The second Sunday, we have Lemuel. Third Sunday, we have Andy. Fourth Sunday, we have Wilfred. And that is because the reason why we schedule it this way is because we're dividing this rotation or scheduling on the basis of the location of these elders along with their team. So, for example, the song leader and the musician, we have the brother Omar, and you will notice that I put here Joshua also in company, and by company I mean Moira, Gabby, and Bea. Okay, and that's because the reason why I put slash there, it's because it's an option whether or not, depending on how Omar and Josh, if Omar would need Josh's help, then the company of Josh would be ready to help brother Omar as well. Or Josh would have to also ask brother Omar if he needs help. So this is like a collaboration between two. Brother Omar typically leads the song and he plays the guitar along with him. The same thing with brother Danny Tolentino. We will have to ask brother Josh whether he needs help. Likewise, vice versa, Josh has to ask brother Danny if he needs help. Unlike on the third Sunday, brother Osric, since he does not play musical instrument, so typically he is dependent on Josh and company. On fourth Sunday, you'll notice here that Nate and Erwal, since this is sponsored by the youth group, the overseeing elder or the worship leader would be brother Wilfred Tiden, and the musicians and the song leader will be Nate and Erwal. For the media, well, typically we have Erwal, because at the moment we don't have any volunteer, but Josh, or I don't know, maybe I could, Josh called me earlier that he said if you could add Hannah along, so I'm not sure if he could probably, or she could probably help us in this area, Victoria, and perhaps even Josh Guerrero. So I'm gonna put his name there just in case he's able to help out with, just to assist Errol. Okay. On the greeter, since we don't have yet much of people volunteering here, and we're seeing Brother Ding helping us out every Sunday, so I'm probably going to have to ask him here to be temporary regular greeter. Now, look with me here in overseeing elders. Just a bit of a reminder here. A lot of things you do, by the way, or what's mentioned here, is not new. A lot of them it's already something that you have been doing. Please keep in mind that as overseeing elders, you are, like I said earlier, you are basically the person who oversees the Sunday worship. So what should you do? I believe as an elder, you should take time to prepare for Sunday, since it's only once a month. And as I've said here, Saturday is a key preparation. You have to prepare your heart and mind and soul before the Lord as you lead people for worship. This is also a perfect time to search for the text you want to read that day on Sunday. So on Sunday also, keep in mind that you are to keep the time, and that means before 2:15, you wanted to make sure that you call on the team and the pastor, and you lead the team in prayer. And that's because sometimes the pastor can be carried away with conversations, so sometimes or even the team. So we wanted to make sure that we start on time. So although the pastor is aware too of the time, but I think it's good that we keep each other accountable. All the team keep each other accountable, but there's one person here who would keep the time, and that's the overseeing elder. As part of the program, you ought to be welcoming the guest and everyone. Okay, let me put here, welcome the members and the guest. Let me just add that here. And you make sure that you know the guest too prior to the service. Announcement: skim through the program in advance. That way, you don't look like you're lost, or it's something new that you're reading as you're on the pulpit trying to make the announcement. Make sure that you're familiar with them. Okay. 6, make sure that you lead through a time of self-examination and confession. In fact, you'll notice here that in the back, after the announcement, I've added there, for those of you who already had a program last Sunday, I did not include this here. I've included this one on your program, so you can print this again if you want. This is the updated version. After the announcement, you might want to encourage people for self-reflection or self-examination before the Lord, and to confess their sins before the Lord, to make themselves right with the Lord. And we're going to go through that in a bit here, this flow of worship. And also lead through the reading of scriptures. If you want a brief explanation of the text, that's recommended, but it's optional. So if you perhaps have read something this week as your personal devotion, you can share that along. Maybe you want to provide a brief reflection of how you understood it, or maybe you want to give a little bit of background of what the text is about and what that means to you in application. So the bottom line is you are to lead the congregation through the entire flow of worship. Okay? So you are to timekeep, you are to oversee the team, and you are to lead the congregation through the entire flow of worship. What about the song leader? Song leader, well, it's true that they are to lead songs, but I would recommend, yes, weekday preparation is really important. The mind, the heart, and our spirit, that we will be right before the Lord, and we make sure that we know the message of the songs. That's why number 2 here, you find 2 to 3 message, or rather 2 to 3 songs. Medley. And by medley, we mean it's continuous. There's no interval, there's no break in between. But if you'd like to, like number 3, as said here, if you want to introduce the songs for each song, you can do that in between before you sing the next song. Since this is a teaching opportunity for everyone, I've said here it's optional, but you can use that opportunity to teach the song. As I've used an example last Sunday, like for example, if there's this song that goes, and I've raised my and I've raised my Ebenezer. I think that's the song that I forgot the title of it, but yeah, but you might want to ask yourself, who is Ebenezer? Like, why is it included in the song? So this is a teaching moment that you might want to explain to the congregation. Who is Ebenezer? Okay, so introduce each song to the congregation. That's optional, but make sure you keep in mind that this is a teaching opportunity to the congregation. Going back to number 2 here, as you find these 2 to 3 songs, make sure that they're theologically rich. Okay, they're Bible-centered, they're edifying. It's a teaching moment. And the style of the song, make sure it's easy to learn and hard to forget. And here are the recommendations that I have for you. For example, I would encourage you highly to use hymns, modify them, maybe learn songs from the Sovereign Grace, Getty's Music, CT Alike. Okay, and if you have any questions about reference, you can ask me about that. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that in your equipping for the next 2 to 3 weeks will help you be equipped or enriched with principles on how to do that, to deepen your worship in the Lord, and to help you expand your knowledge on how to lead people in worship. So I'm not going to expound on that here. Let me just guide you now to our flow of worship. So as you can see here, nothing has changed a lot. It's very straightforward. Prelude, Airwell usually places using the laptop. Welcome, that's by the Elder of the Day. Announcement, Elder of the Day, the same thing. Self-reflection and confession, Elder of the Day. Opening prayer, either Elder of the Day can pray or he can ask someone to pray. And scripture reading, the Elder of the Day will lead that too. And now, for the song medley, this is where the song leaders or the musicians come in. So pretty much this is the only spot or only place here that the song leaders do come in. Message, this is understandable for the pastor who is scheduled to preach that day to come to stage or to the pulpit to preach the word. And typically after that, it's offerings. So you can see for the past Sunday, we experienced that we're all giving the people the time, designated time to give. And since we're not passing the collection offering or we're not collecting the offering by passing the plate, we're giving this designated time for people to be able to stand up and go to the back and give their offerings. And then after offerings, we have the song of the month, which is selected by me. So the musicians won't have to worry about this. And of course, the benediction. The Elder of the Day has the option to either read the scripture or to lead us in closing prayer. Now you might notice that I put communion here. As you can see, communion is only applicable only on the first Sunday of the month. Likewise, with the benevolence offering, it's only applicable every fourth Sunday of the month. Okay. For any questions there, please feel free to drop your comments below. And last but not least, I'm going to bring you back here to the equipping. Now, before I go explaining further what equipping is about, first of all, I would like to encourage the song leaders here, the media people, and the musicians to go through this. Now, for the worship leader or the elder of the day, as I've said on Sunday, I'm not. This is not mandatory, and in fact, I would not. I'm still encouraging you to do it, but since I have something else for you in about a month from now, since I don't want to give you a lot of homework. So again, this is totally optional for you. You don't have to do it. Worship leaders and elders of the day, Brother Joel, Brother Limuel, Brother Wilfred, and Brother Andy, you don't have to do this because we have something else next month that's coming as part of the Reset Leadership retreat. But for the song leaders and for the musicians, I would encourage you to go through this, even along with the media people, to go through this 3-week of 40 to 60-minute lectures for the next 3 weeks, which will start next week. By the way, we're supposed to start this week, but it's going to be delayed a bit since I'm still putting a lot of things together. And as you can see behind me, we're still packing. So pardon me for all the mess behind me here. And it's a bit disorganized. And at the same time, there's just a lot of things that I'm trying to put together this week as we would engage, and face the next couple of or several months for the entire year. For this 3-week of 40 to 6-minute lectures, I'm going to put it in a Facebook group. We're going to create a different Facebook group for ourselves, for the worship team again. I believe we have done this before. And I encourage all of you to have your own account ready. I'm going to invite all of you into that group. And weekly, I'm going to post that video. And what's going to happen is after you watch that video, as you can see here, I'm going to ask you what that video means to you personally, or how God has spoken to you personally, or how has that been applicable to you in your family. And also the second one is your ministry reflection, meaning to say, how does that help you to serve other people? Okay, so I encourage you to a minimum maybe of 2 to 3 sentences, a paragraph. If you want to write a paper, that's fine too, but as long as I want to know how God has spoken to you, or how God has equipped you through that video. Okay, so this is pretty much it, and this is just an overview of how we're going to do our worship for the next several months for the entire year. And really, this is all about improving our serve and do the best we can and know how, and the resources that God has given to us to be able to glorify Him and to give Him honor and to exalt His Son, and to continually doing the ministry of the gospel, even through not to the members, but also to our regular church goers. And who knows, as God continually brings people to come in and He brings them to our doorstep, we want to make sure that we are God-centered, we are Christ-centered, or gospel-centered as much as we can. So I think I've pretty much covered everything. So if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to either email me, text me, or comment on the section below and let me know what your questions are. And I'm definitely happy to get back to you as soon as I can. By the way, keep in mind, again, we're not going to do the video yet this week. Okay, we're going to do it next week. So I want to make sure that you read, or rather listen to this video. And I'm also going to post a schedule there for you. If you want to print it out, that's fine. And again, elders of the day or worship leaders, you're not required to participate in the equipping classes, but this is one time a year that we do in order for us to improve in our serve to the Lord. So I encourage you to do it, but if not, that's fine, because I have something else for you next month. But for song leaders, musicians, and media people, I encourage you to go through this equipping class lectures for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for your time. Again, comment on the section below if you have any questions whatsoever. And thank you so much for your time. And God bless you, and have a great day.